Hello, everybody. This is Joseph P. Farrell with news and views from the Nefarium on Thursday, March 2nd, 2017. You're not going to believe this. Um, I have to tell you, when I saw this article, I said, I've got to do the news and views on this article. No others even came into consideration this week, because the depths of insanity of the political leadership in the West, and I'll be very blunt, on the political left, have reached a new low or a new high. I don't know, probably high, because you can only make a decision this colossally stupid if you're high. I found this article courtesy of someone who sent it to me and shared it. It's by Judith Bergman. And the article is titled, "Would You Want Your Vaccine Produced by Supporters of Jihad?" Now, listen to this story. I'm going to read a few paragraphs. The whole article is well worth reading in its entirety, but I want to read a few paragraphs to this because you're not going to believe it. Beginning at the beginning of the article, would you want your vaccines produced by a Saudi company that supports jihad? Danes, it seems, may have no choice. Denmark recently sold its state-owned vaccine manufacturing facility to a conglomerate owned by the Al-Jamaya Group, and I'm assuming I'm mispronouncing it, a Saudi family dynasty led by Sheikh, whatever this guy's name is. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce it correctly. The Sheikh is the largest single stockholder and chairman of Arcapita Bank, formerly First Islamic Investment Bank. That, by the way, transliterates into the acronym FIIB, or FIB, headquartered in Bahrain. As an Islamic bank, it has a so-called Sharia supervisory board comprised of Islamic scholars who ensure the bank's activities comply with Sharia. Former Islamic judge and leading Islamic scholar something or other, who sits on the bank's Sharia board, in his book, quote, "Islam and Modernism," unquote, writes ruminations such as, "Aggressive jihad is lawful even today. Its justification cannot be veiled," unquote. Skipping a couple paragraphs here. Equally noteworthy is that the spiritual leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, Yusuf al-something or other, used to sit on Arcapita's Sharia board until eventually he resigned. Qaradawi, already in 1995, told a Muslim Arab Youth Association convention in Toledo, Ohio, quote, "We will conquer Europe, we will conquer America," unquote. According to Qaradawi, Sharia law should be introduced gradually over a 5-year period in a new country. Presumably, this gradually introduced Sharia legal system would include the end of free speech under blasphemy laws, the denigration and oppression of women, such as women being worth half as much as men in a court, polygamy, the persecution of Jews. Qaradawi advocates killing all of them, beating wives as a way of disciplining them, and so on. Only after this transition phase, Sharia laws such as killing apostates and homosexuals, as well as chopping off hands for theft, would be introduced. Skipping a few paragraphs here. That's context, folks. Now let's get to the sale of the vaccine company to Saudi Arabia. Selling the crucial manufacture of vaccines to an ideologically hostile country which might, for whatever reason, suddenly decide to shut down production does not sound like a good idea. Oh, really? Those who say that the Saudis are merely interested in profit, just like everybody else, should know better, unquote, Rachel Ehrenfeld, an expert on the financing of terrorism, told Extra Bladet, that's a Danish newspaper. Virtually all political parties supported the Danish, listen to that, virtually all political parties supported the Danish government's sale of its vaccine manufacturing facility to the Saudi conglomerate. This is strange given the recent history of Danish-Saudi relations. After the publication of the Danish Muhammad cartoons in 2006, Saudis boycotted Danish goods. Saudi Arabia's religious leader, Grand Mufti Sheikh something or other, you know, they've all got these long, unpronounceable names, demanded that the Danish government hold Jyllands-Posten, the newspaper that printed the Muhammad cartoons, to account and force the newspaper to give an apology. Quote, the government should give the newspaper a fine as a deterrence. This is the least that Muslims should demand, unquote. In other words, pay for your free speech or pay a fine if you go too far and upset the religion of peace and tolerance. Do Danish politicians really have such short memories? Vaccines are not an easy commodity to come by. It takes a minimum of 6 months for an order of vaccines to be delivered, but according to the World Health Organization, delivery can also easily take up to 2 years. Astonishingly, the Danish state has given the Al Jamaya group an incredible start by promising to buy all its children's vaccines from the sheikh for the first 30 months. Only after that will Danish authorities be able to buy their children's vaccines elsewhere. The Danish government also promised the Al Jamaya group not to create new Danish state vaccine production for the first 3 years. There's your no competition clause, folks. Health Minister Ellen Trane-Nørby has defended the sale. Quote, we did not have several buyers to choose from. We have the buyer we have, and it has saved 600 Danish jobs, which would otherwise have been lost. Is she saying that the safety of Danish citizens is worth 600 jobs? And I go no further here, folks, because I read this and I'm stupefied that, number one, anybody of rational sanity or even a modicum of cultural understanding of our history in Western civilization would want to have any business dealings with Saudi Arabia or the illiterate princelings, the spoiled billionaire busybodies that run that country. This boggles my mind. But why anyone sane or rational would want to sell vaccine production facilities to that country, which is wholly dedicated under that ideology of Islam to the destruction of everything that falls outside of the world of Islam. You're handing over a means of bio-warfare and bioterrorism to one of the most vile, repellent, repressive regimes on the planet. It would be like handing over to Adolf Hitler the secrets of making the atomic bomb in the name of tolerance and multiculturalism. This is nuts. And if I were Danish, I would be livid. I'm livid right now just reading about this story, folks. But it adds another little feather in the cap of everybody that says that vaccines are dangerous, because now they really could be. If you dispute the science behind vaccine autism connections, wait till people start dying from Saudi vaccines, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past them at all. This is insanity, folks, and it's time to throw these people out of power. Denmark, shame on you. That's it for new. Oh, by the way, one more point. People asked me, I was sick last week. I wasn't able to get to my video chats as I normally did. I will be holding a makeup chat, I hope, at some point, but don't look for it in the next 2 months. I'm incredibly busy in the next 2 months. I have archived the questions that people sent me, so we will have those questions on the next vid chat, which is scheduled for next week. Anyway, I don't know about you folks, but I'm riled. So I'll see you all on the flip side. Bye bye and God bless.